Hello, welcome to another video on the channel. Now, a very interesting one today. Fishing a lake called Mystery Lake at the awesome Angler's Paradise. So, who knows what I'm going to catch? There's a mystery. Nobody knows, as Zig always said. So, I'm going to try some float fishing to start with. I've got my feeder rod with me to give that a go as well. It's a bit windy today, still warm, but I've fished here before, so I know the kind of fish that are in here, but hoping for some surprises. And you never know when you're fishing here. So let's get the tackle sorted and get fishing. As always, whenever I'm float fishing, I always start with a plummet. Just put your line through it, hook into the bottom of the plummet, like so, or the bottom of my finger. Either way. There we go. I'm going to float fish the margin to start with. I've got a bunch of lilies in front of me, which I'll show you now. I'm going to float fish in front of these lilies here. If I have any problems, then I will move over to this side, fish in front of this here. Feeder fishing, I will go over to the island, but I haven't set that up yet. And we'll start with float fishing and we'll see how we go. Totally normal, totally normal. This is Angler's Paradise after all. I'm going to try the shallow side. I've got a shallow side in front of the lilies. It's only literally a foot deep, maybe slightly more. And the right hand side looks about 2 foot, 2.5 foot deep. So we're going to go in front of the lilies to start with. Let's see what we got down there. If nothing happens, or I just get pestered by a species, then I'll move to the right hand side and give that a go. Look at that, bite straight away. Come on. But, you know. Yeah, the wind is going to be a bit of a pain today. Swirling around this bay in front of me. There we go. Yes, here we go. That, I can only assume, is a carp. Looks like a little mirror carp, I think. It's a fish. It's a good way to start, considering the bait's only been in the water for a minute, if that. It's having a right little moment out there. Problem is, because the lake is so shallow at the moment, not just because of the lack of rain, but it's not the deepest of lakes anyway, I don't think, especially in the margins. So they fight really hard. I mean, it's not big, but my God. It is a cracker. Look at this absolute stunner. It's, I've got my net in between my legs. Let's just move this out here a little bit. What a stunning little fish. Perfect little zip linear, absolutely lovely. Slip her back. That was a good start. Stick a few more maggots now. Lovely jubbly. Bringing in a fish to show you. Looked like a tiny little common carp. It fell off. I've got to get another one. That looks a really cute little fish. There's plenty of bites, just not connecting with every single one of them. A massive carp. Just cruised in front of my float. Don't really want anything too big if I can help it. It's only a light float rod. Huzzah! Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is a brown goldfish or a little common carp. Maybe a brown goldfish. Looks a bit goldfishy kind of shaped, I suppose. It was a fish. Definitely a fish. Into another one. Sneaky suspicion. Well, suspicions are now gone because it just jumped out of the water. And this is a carp. Now, I thought this was going to be the case here, if I'm honest. I have heard that, you know, Mystery Lake is not too much of a mystery anymore because it's the carp have bred and bred and bred, and now that come off, shot the float into the tree above me. Yeah, so there's a hell of a lot of carp in here, but there's a hell of a lot of other species in here as well. It's just getting through the carp if I can. It's going to be the carp that are going to be a bit of a pain today. And what else is a pain is my float being in a tree. I've got another one on. Whether this one will stay on, I don't know. Oh, he's in the lilies. Get out. Yes, here we go. Looks like another little mirror carp. Oh, it's lovely to play these fish on such a light rod. It bends all the way through. To be fair, this is the rod that I normally use for crucian carp fishing, so it's being tested this week. Come on, in you come. In you come. There we go. Lovely little mirror carp. Absolutely beautiful little fish. Not really what I'm after, but this is what I'm getting. Let's slip her back. There we go, look at this. Nice little goldfish. something different, a normal carp. Obviously still the same family of fish, but lovely. Now if we can keep getting the odd surprise like that, just randomly, out of the blue, a goldfish, then I'll be happy, because that kind of keeps the lake and its name intact, being the mystery lake. And obviously you never know what you're going to get. Oh, that's a terrible Zig impression. That sounded like Voldemort. You never know what you're going to... Oh, that's even worse. I'll just leave the Zig impressions, I think. But basically, he always says, you never know what you're going to catch in the mystery lake, which is the way I like it. Now, this is a very special little break for myself and Steve, the Passionate Piscator. We both celebrate our 40th birthdays this year. Mine's in February, Steve's is in July. Just being 40, making it to 40 in my opinion, I think, feels like a bit of an achievement. So we celebrated it here, and where else would we? We've both been, we've been friends since we were in infant school, so what's that, 35 years nearly? We've been fishing together for, a massive proportion of those. Obviously Steve now lives in Bristol, and I live in Basingstoke, so we don't see each other as much as we used to. We used to, every single time we went fishing, we fished together, and it hasn't really been the same since Steve moved to Bristol, because it's a bit far for either of us to travel just for a day's fishing. So yeah, weeks like this are very, very, very good for the old soul to get back with me old mucker Steve and have a good old fishing session or two. And we're on a mystery lake today, and it's absolutely wonderful. There's another one of these little carp. There's a hell of a lot of them down there. I knew I was going to be pestered by carp. I didn't realise they're going to be that small. But that's fishing. You can't tell what's going to take your bait, especially when you're just using a couple of maggots. When I go over to the feeder, probably going to put a pellet on that. Now yes, that's probably going to encourage a carp, but there's definitely barbel in here, there's chub in here. So I think the pellet should work quite well. Plus the feeder rod is a little bit more geared towards slightly larger fish, whereas the float rod is not. I mean, it's not like getting a bite is a problem, that's for sure. Oh, look at this one. This one's not a common, this one is an absolutely stunning little mirror. Look at that. Oh, wow. That is going to be an absolute beauty when that's bigger. What a stunning little fish. They are definitely breeding well in here. That's probably a fish of, I would have thought, maybe last season spawning, maybe? Certainly not much older than that. Yeah, very enjoyable, not gonna lie. Feeding wise, I'm literally every fish near enough just small handful, well not even a handful, like a small pinch of maggots almost. I don't want to overfeed because it's still quite warm. Oh, flipping hell. That was a much bigger fish. And I don't want to underfeed, but I think if I put a huge amount of bait in, filled it in with ground bait and stuff like that, then it could kill the fishing completely. You just don't know. So I always start off light, and if I feel that they want the food, which to be fair I think they do, then I can move up the baiting regime. Let's have a tiny little common. All is going well. Another little carp on. Surprise, surprise. A bit lively, let's try and hold him nicely. Here he is. Lovely little mirror carp. Beautiful. Oh, Jesus. It's just jumped out of my hands. Oh, he went back fine. One thing that is worth noting when I'm fishing and I've got the camera like this, that I always hold the net in between my legs, which is right here, so that if the fish as a moment flips out of my hands, he's only going to land back in the net. It come to no harm. Why has that happened? I've just got a ball of shot at the bottom of my float now. Ay. That's very annoying. Christ, that is just... How? How has that happened? Yeah, probably gonna have to redo all the float again. Right, let's get that sorted. Finally got it undone. As you can see, it goes a bit crinkly when you've had a kind of tangle like that. A good way to get around that is just grab it with your fingers and then just keep rubbing it for a little while, and the sort of the warmth kind of brings it back to life. It makes it nice and straight again. There we go, that's much better. Alright, I'm going to give it another 20 minutes, half an hour on the float, as it is kind of becoming a little bit predictable. And then I'm going to move on to the feeder. I haven't quite decided what we're going to put on the hook as a feeder, but yeah, we'll set it up in a little while and yeah, give that a go. Plenty of carp around the margins, around the margins of the island, which is where I'll be fishing. So it could be fun. I'm going to try a little prawn on the float. This time I'm being very careful. A couple of sessions ago when I was fishing on another lake here at Angler's Paradise, I pulled the prawns out, undone them, and just as I did that, just as I lifted it up, the juice went all over my trousers, and my God, did that smell. It was absolutely foul. Which is why I'm wearing shorts today. Giving those trousers a bit of an airing, because my God. I had to make them smell a little bit better, otherwise when I take them home, the old wife is going to wonder what on earth I've been up to. Right, let's give the prawn a go. Well, I've got one on. Obviously not a very happy fish. Can't see the problem myself. It's obviously a carp. Oh, it was a carp. I'm not 100% sure if he was possibly foul hooked. There is what seems like a shed load of carp where I've been feeding those pellets. I can literally see like that kind of wake that comes onto the top of the water from a fish's tail just under the water. I can see that all over this bit, so probably a little obvious what it's going to be. Float is constantly up, down, up, down, up, down. Which is probably just the fish hitting the line. There's so many down there. It's actually very hard to get an actual bite with a prawn. There's so many fish down there. Well, maybe they're just not interested in prawns. See it sort of bumping around where the fish are hitting the line, but they're not actually taking the bait. What I'm going to do is I'm going to position the camera so it's looking at the area that I'm going to be fishing and see if it picks up all the plumes that come up. It's easy for me to see them because I'm wearing polaroids. Let's see if I can capture that. Trying to catch one more on the float, and I'm going to switch over to the feeder. Not fussed what it is. Probably kind of guess what it's going to be, but you never know. Also, I can only apologise if there's a loud kind of noise behind this video because they're strimming or something with some kind of petrol strimmer or chainsaw or something just over in the distance, and it's rather loud. So hopefully it doesn't disturb the video too much. Lovely little golden tench. Absolutely stunning fish, they really are. Yeah, look at that. Little brown goldfish. Even though they're very dark, common carp, it's quite hard to tell, but I think that's a brown goldfish. Let's now set up the feeder rod and see if we can get something out on that, I think. If need be, we can come back to the float. I'll leave that set up. Right, let's get this sorted. For the feeder, I'm going to be fishing one of these, a flatbed feeder. Wicked little feeder. You just cram the ground bait on top, fold the hook link in, which I'll show you in a little bit, but I've done it many times before. And yeah, it presents a perfect little parcel of food. Now, the ground bait needs to be of a certain consistency, really. So what I've got here, I haven't made loads because I'm not going to be here for ages. I've got some ground bait and some pellets put together, and they kind of look like that. You squeeze it together, makes a nice little ball or whatever, and then, but it just breaks down really easy. You don't want it really stodgy for this kind of feeder. You want it to be able to break off fairly easy when the fish start attacking it. You don't want just a stodgy lump, really. Oh, well, that's the ground bait sorted out. Let's get the rod sorted out and get it out into the pond. Okay, right, well the feeder's all ready. I've clipped it up to where I want it to be. Not right on the island, because that'd be a little bit dangerous. But just off it. So I always get a little bit of ground bait, just squeeze it onto the actual feeder, then fold in your hook bait. In this case, mine's a banded pellet. Put some more ground bait on the top. Give it a good squeeze. And then kind of really squeeze it nice and tight. There we go. Beautiful little feeder. Let's see what this produces. The problem I'm having with a feeder, there's obviously a hell of a lot of fish attacking it. And it's pulling around all the time, loads of little tick. But it's hard to tell what's actually a proper bite and what's not. Which so far I've struck into 4 different bites. Nothing on the end, but each one the tip is pulled right round, so it's nearly pulling the rod off the rest. But this could also be the fact that there's a hell of a lot of fish maybe hitting the line and just pulling it along. But it is instant, that's already jingling. It's literally going to be a sit on hands moment and just wait. Okay. I can sit on my hands then because the rod pulled out the rest. Oh, bloody hell. There's no mistaking what this is, I don't think. Oh, but it's gone right round the corner. Don't they hang on? Let's try and keep them out of the lilies. Oh, it's nice to get a fish on the feeder. I mean, he's no monster, but not happy. Seems to be a theme with the fish that I've caught on this holiday. They've always been very angry about gracing my net. See if we can hold him up. There he is. Lovely common carp. Let's slip her back. getting on now. We were only going to fish till about 1 o'clock today. Got a little, going to go for a little trip to the sort of Tamar Reservoir this afternoon. Just for something different, just to break the days up and the week up a little bit. And so we're going to go back and have a bit of lunch first. See if we can get a couple more. Oh, there's one. Doesn't take long, it really doesn't in here. I think it's only a little one by the feel of it. Could it be something else than a carp? No. It's one of them damn carps. Right, we'll be quick with this one because he's been an absolute pain. There he is. Lovely little mirror carp. Let's slip it back. Don't know what it is now. I've been on this holiday for a few days and I've never had carp misbehave so much. I've caught so many and they've gone absolutely mental on the bank. Well, there we go. Right, let's get this out and get another one. Now, the way that I cast when I'm fishing to a clip, I cast out, rod up, rod down. Then that gives you enough on the... That's a bite straight away. And you pull the rod. There we go. And yes, if you pull the rod up, let it land, and then put the rod down, you can wind in, just so you've got a couple of turns on the reel, just in case something really big does come along. It's not normally too much of a problem when you're fishing to an island, because they normally swim towards you. They can't really swim over the island. But yeah, just as a safety buffer, just a couple of turns of the reel. Wow, I've got a little fella on. It's like a little mirror carp. God, turbocharged. That's a lovely looking little fish. Well, there we go. That's going to be the last one for me from the mystery lake. It's been an absolutely fantastic session. Loads and loads of different species. It's been a really, really enjoyable few hours fishing this morning on Mystery Lake on the Angler's Paradise complex. So thank you very much for watching. Please, if you can, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.